Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica, and in today's tutorial I will be painting this cozy autumn pumpkin trio. You can join me in this real-time step-by-step tutorial and learn how to create beautiful textures and depth using glazing, splatters and different types of washes. And you can pause anytime and paint at your own pace. Your comments and likes truly motivate me to create more videos for you guys. If you are my Patreon member, you get extended version with the drawing and traceable file. And if you guys want to become one, click the link in the description. And I mentioned all the supplies in the description as well under this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and happy painting! I'm gonna make my background darker than my pumpkin, so I'm just gonna wet everything down with water. And I'm gonna have shadow here, so that's gonna be my darkest area on the pumpkins, but I still wanna do color on top, so nice and wet, and going a little bit on top of pumpkins, no big deal. And I'm gonna use that indigo color with some teal, with some ultramarine. I love the granulations, all that indigo. Let's get the paper towel. Yeah, and make sure everything is wet so you have that nice blending going on. So I'm just gonna go again with water. Nice and wet, and it's gradually gonna go lighter at the top and the darkest at the bottom. If you have like very wet puddles, you can just tap it off. Yeah, I have so much paper or so much water here. Just gonna dab and lift some. Okay, let's have some fun. This is ultramarine. No, this is actually ultramarine. This is another teal. It's Prussian blue, so I'm gonna add variations of bluish, grayish. And you guys decide how dark you want to go, and you can always add it. Just wait until it's completely dry. If you didn't have time to finish your background, wait. If it's already damp and you want nice background, very soft transition, just wait and wet it again. And a larger brush would help too. Okay, let's add a little bit of turquoise, and I'm gonna mention all the colors I use in the description, as I always do under my videos. Okay, nice and bluish, and I'm gonna use some splatters. You guys know me, I love those splatters textures. And now I'm gonna add complementary, so we have approximately this color, right? The teal, bluish. We're gonna add some orangey on top, and the pumpkins will be orangey, so it's gonna look great. So I use brush, maybe a little bit brighter orange. The bottom. So it's too obvious. I'm just gonna lift some with my red brush and just make it softer transition. I'm gonna add more darker shadow on the pumpkins. So more teal, more indigo. So it's still wet, so that's why I'm adding everything, and I'm gonna have that nice blend. And it's gonna get a lot lighter, so I'm not afraid to go even darker. Just dab. Can dab in a little bit of purple. So I have purple here. Gonna mix it in with indigo, so I don't want just bright obvious purple. It's gonna be, still want to show some purple. Okay, what we have here, maybe more blue, Prussian blue. And it's already dampened some areas. So I want to make this softer. There was like a white spot, dry spot that left. And I would like to splatter some of a grayish bluish color on top. And you see the paper is damp, and those splatters softly spreading. And I'm gonna leave it as this, add a little bit of shadow right here. Okay, you can use hair dryer or naturally wait until it's dry. Maybe I'll lift a little bit of that blue. So I would like to have some loose edges. I'm gonna start dropping that orangey color. So this pumpkin gonna be this color. It's gonna be like cream color with some orange. So I'm just taking lots of water, adding a little bit of yellow. And tiny bit of blue. So I have that beigey color. And I always suggest to test it before you go on your painting. So I'm gonna take scrap paper. Oh, that's too orangey. So let's add a little bit of blue and add a little bit of yellow and water. More water. Okay, let's go on top of it. That's a nice creamy beige color. And if it bleeds a little bit into the blue, it's fine. So now I did wet on dry. For these cool effects, I'm just gonna get orange, and I'm gonna use burnt sienna. Okay, I need to add my color. And just gonna go into those creases and dab, 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 and let it bleed. It's getting dry, so I need more water here. So I'm just gonna go touch it with wet brush. More burnt sienna. Dab, 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 dab. So, and we also have that nice bright yellowish green or greenish yellow. Dab, dab. So I have that yellow color. Clean some of my palette and mixing some bright green. So I have yellow, can use that Prussian blue, more yellow. That's perfect. Yeah, you see, it matches that color. I'm just gonna dab in that green. So I have some harder edges, some softer edges. I have a combination of damp and dry paper here. I'm just gonna soften with damp brush, gonna touch some of these dots I just made, same here. And right here to the bottom. Okay. If you didn't touch this part, you can start painting kind of brown. I used brown with purple, burnt umber with purple I had on my palette, and I like a little bit of bleeding here. So the left will be in the shadow. Gonna have highlight on the right side, and I'm gonna leave it as is. Maybe gonna introduce a little bit of red, so it's gonna be more interesting. And soften. And I'm gonna go on top of it with darker shade later, so I'm gradually building the volume. Okay, let's clean the palette and go back to this pumpkin. So this one's gonna be orange. I'm gonna use, okay, let's do wet on wet. I'm gonna wet it down. So I'm using this lighter orange. And remember, these areas will be lighter in the highlight and the creases will be darker. So we'll go with darker on top in the creases. But for now, I'm just gonna build nice, interesting colors here. So I'm just dropping, barely touching. I don't rub it, very light, just dab dab. Yeah, pretty. And we can do the same for the stem, right? How you call that thing? Okay, I'm going with same colors. Little bit bleeding, but I like it. A little bit curving maybe. So I can go with details on top of it. So I'm not gonna go on this one because it's gonna bleed into my orange. I don't wanna touch it. And for this pumpkin, so what else we can use? Oh, I said that bluish, right? Tealish pumpkin color. So we're just gonna have our blue. Indigo actually will be perfect color with lots of water. It's not enough. So I'm using that diluted with water. Okay, I'm gonna do wet on wet. That indigo. And remember, it's gonna dry a lot lighter. So I'm gonna go into those creases and make those areas darker. So just dab, 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 dab into the creases, and you see it's already shaping the pumpkin. Okay, and that stem, we used burnt umber and purple. Now the left side will be lighter and I'm gonna leave it white. Actually, no, I'm wrong. So I'm gonna leave this side a little bit and do more of the darker brown on the left. So burnt umber, dab, 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 dab. So this one already dry. Okay. So I'm gonna let it dry. But before doing that, I would like to splatter some of the complementary colors. So we have that blue teal. I'm gonna splatter a little bit of beigey orange on this pumpkin. So these leftovers will be perfect. You guys know me. I love splatters, textures, and it looks beautiful. So you'll see those details on the final painting. So, and I already go on top of that one. And now I would like to add some shadows. So I'm using that orange color. And a little bit of Prussian blue. And adding that greenish right in the shadow. And I would go with more of the blue. Just dab, dab, dab. And clean my brush, dab it off a paper towel and just soften that edge. And I'm gonna add a glaze of another color. Make sure your painting is dry before you're doing that. Yeah, I would like to add more depth into all of them. And now it's a good time when everything is dry. So I'm gonna go with orangey. And burnt sienna, burnt amber. More orangey. And I'm just gonna start dabbing in. So remember the bottom part is darker because it's in the shadow. I'm just gonna dab the very bottom. And in the creases again. Dab, dab, dab. Smudging a little. And I would like that greenish shade again. It's too boring, so I'm just gonna dab in that green color again. It was Prussian blue, yellow, or whatever green you like. So this is a crease too, so just softening, smudging a little bit. And this is too. I think I want to go even darker at the bottom. Yeah, dab in some more brownish. And this crease. So this one gonna dry a lot lighter again. So I love the dimension, the depth we have right now. And let's do this pumpkin. So it is wet, so I'm going with indigo and gonna dab in those crease lines and the bottom a lot darker. All the dabbing, not like painting, rubbing, just let it naturally flow. Creases. And this is gonna be in the shadow, so we can go around darker. I think I want to add some brightness, like a teal color. Probably. With splatters. So, and let's make this one interesting. So more brighter orange going into, so I'm gonna introduce this with wet on dry, so you see how it looks. So I'm not doing the straight line from top to bottom. I also dab, 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 and you'll see how I'm gonna smudge it. Okay, now I'm gonna clean my brush, dab it off so it's damp, and I'm just gonna be lifting. See how interesting it looks? And the bottom should be darker too, like other pumpkins. And this area is darker, so we can add a little bit of burnt umber. Dab, 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 dab. Same here. And even at the bottom, we can go with burnt umber. Yeah. Now we have the depth. And add some texture, detail on the stem, on that one. And I would add some purple for variation of brown, so it's gonna look more interesting. Just dab, dab. You see, I'm not painting the straight line, so I'm just making the breaking like more interesting line instead of just going and tracing. Just dab, dab, and just make sure the left side is darker. Just dab, dab, dab some purplish, burnt umber. Yeah, I like that purple. and the bottom part. Okay, let's wait for, actually I'm not gonna wait for this to dry. I'm gonna take my liner brush and I'm gonna add some fun twigs like weed in the back right here. So I'm gonna take that brownish burnt umber with some purple. So you guys see, I never paint with one color, so I like to introduce add other shades. So if it's brown, just using a little bit of reddish, little bit of purple, and it's gonna look much better and interesting. So I'm just gonna add some twigs, and you see, again, I'm not painting straight line, I'm just doing like broken dab, pull, like pulled, let it go. And now I see like darker, lighter twigs and very natural and organic looking. So, and see how pretty it looks against that light background. So, and always remember about your complementary colors. If it's something like brownish, purplish, you can always dab in some orangey yellow. If it's more purple, you can just even splatter some of that bright yellow color. I'll show you. So I would like to do the complementary of this color. So it's gonna be like we have purple here, right? And I'm gonna use these shades for like kind of flowers, abstractish, and even go darker twigs here as well. See a broken line. So that should be darker. So I'm using burnt umber, burnt sienna, just going around and adding that shadow because it has to be the darkest. And that's it. I'm using same color, just my liner brush, just playing around with twigs. Dab, dab. I love how they look on top with against that light background. Now gonna use yellowish orangey and just dab something abstractish here. So we have some foliage, leaves going on top. So just do random dabbing and vary the shade. Dab, 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 and a little bit of green. So I'm using my Prussian blue with yellow, making that nice forest green. Just dab, dab. You can make one area more greenish, one area more like orangey reds, but it's totally up to you. So you see I'm using my brush, tip of the brush, side more like thicker strokes, and now I'm gonna use orangey and make some more larger, like maybe like maple leaves in the back, a little bit of brown with that orange. So dab, dab, dab. I like this part. Let's see. I don't want to overwork it, so, but still, now I'm gonna use some splatters. Oh yeah, I love it. Love it, love it. And even at the bottom. And on my pumpkins, yeah. Clean my brush and can dab it off and lift some beautiful glazing effect. So you can lift everywhere. Make sure your brush is clean and damp. You don't have any color on it. So, and that's pretty much it, right? I love it. And maybe I can add a little bit of the creases again. So I'm gonna use just darker burnt sienna-ish and purplish. And just dab it again. See, just dab, tap, tap. Tap, tap. In the creases, just some areas, not tracing the whole pumpkin, not outlining, no way. How pretty. And if you don't like something, wash it off, wash your brush, dab it off, and just lift. Keep it loose. And maybe on that one. And you just remember to stop, guys. I know it's not easy, but don't overwork it. Just dab, dab, curve, dab, dab, clean, dab it off paper towel, and just touch some of those creases. Beautiful. I really want to splatter some of that complementary limeish yellow color here. So let's clean a little bit. If you guys need to change your water in between, do it. Don't paint with dirty water. Mine is kind of dirty, but I'm almost done here. All I want just some bright greenish, limeish splatters on my bottom pumpkins. Clean it, dab it off, lift it. Ah, beautiful. Okay, looks very nice and lots of depth here. I'm very happy. And if you guys like my other videos where I used gouache to create extra texture, you can do the same thing. So right now I'm using my white gouache. And adding these magical splatters to create extra texture. It looks great. You can even do highlights if you like, if you missed some. Oops, it's a little too much, but yeah, I'll just lift that. And I'm gonna stop right here. And my background is dry. I'm just gonna sign it. So the best way will be signing with lighter color with gouache. Just gonna go and add my initials. And after everything dried, I noticed I would like to add some of that beautiful bright yellowish greenish texture, and mostly in those creases. I'm just gonna I mix that yellow with Prussian blue, and I have that bright green color. I'm just gonna dab in randomly in the creases area. Oh yeah, so beautiful. And again, you can just clean your brush, dab it off, and lift some of those dabs or smudge them to make it look not organic, natural. Okay, I'll show you in a second how everything looks. And after everything dried, I noticed I would like to add some of that beautiful bright yellowish greenish texture, and mostly in those creases. So I'm just gonna mix that yellow with Prussian blue, and I have that bright green color. I'm just gonna dab in randomly in the creases area. Oh yeah, so beautiful. And again, you can just clean your brush, dab it off, and lift some of those dabs or smudge them to make it look not organic, natural. Okay, I'll show you in a second how everything looks. And here is the final painting, guys, with all those beautiful textures. These are our fall pumpkins with lots of beautiful foliage colors. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment with any questions, and I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a wonderful day.